Once you have amazing rides built in RollerCoaster Tycoon Classic for Nintendo Switch, building a footpath or a queue line is essential in order to get your customers, your patrons, your guests from the footpath to the ride and back again. So I want to talk through some of the inputs on Switch using controllers and what they can do to help you make this process a breeze. So to begin with, I'm going to press Y to go down to my build menu, and then the left arrow key on my left Joy-Con to move over to the footpath construction. I'll press A to bring up that menu, and then I can use the D-pad to move around on these available options. So to start with, I'm going to choose the queue line path, and this queue line path is necessary for the entrance. So I can move my left joystick around to indicate where I want to build, and then I can press the A button each time to build out that footpath. Pretty comfortable to do. When playing original RollerCoaster Tycoon, I would use this method quite a bit. But as I got more experience playing RCT, I would use the sloped path more often. So that's this one here. So I'm going to move up and select the sloped path. And this one's a little bit more robust, and I find that it just works a little bit better with controls because it mimics ride construction a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I mean by building out the footpath from the exit of this wooden roller coaster. So let's see, I've got my queue line selected right now. I don't want that. So if I want to switch between the types of path, I can hold ZL and move left or right with the D-pad, and that's just going to cycle between queue line styles and footpath styles. Now, if I want to actually change the literal style to like dirt or carpet or any of the other options available, I can hold ZL and press up and down. So left and right will cycle through the different path types, and then up or down with ZL pressed will cycle through the visual styles. I'm ready to build. So I'm going to press the A button to start my path, and then I'm going to use the arrow keys, left and right, arrow buttons, to change the heading of my path building. So this is something that could be a little confusing, but just think about as you're building, what direction do you want to turn based on where your path's going. So here I'm straight. If I want to turn left, I press the left button. If I want to turn right, I press the right button. And then I can use up and down to increase my slope or decrease the slope just the same. So I can very quickly build out a sloped path and connect my exit to the rest of my park just using these very quick and simple commands. So much like roller coasters, if you hold on a particular location by pressing A, you can resume building from that exact location. So if I wanted to build a section of my footpath that, say, would connect guests to this side of my park, I can do that pretty easily as well. And of course, you can always bulldoze your previous sections by pressing the B button. When you're all done, you can simply close the footpath menu or open up one of the other menus, which will close this one. So terraforming land is going to be necessary to make the most out of your parks in RollerCoaster Tycoon on Nintendo Switch. We make it simple and easy by giving you a handful of controls to access these menus and make these actions a snap. To start with, I'm going to press the Y button to move to my build menu down below, and then I'm going to use the D-pad to move to the left and A button to select my Bulldoze menu. I can use the D-pad to select between the different options, so if I want to mess with water or adjusting land or clearing content, I can select those items and move through those different menus pretty quickly with the D-pad. To bulldoze scenery, when this menu is up, it's going to be a little bit more of like a quick delete mode. So if I move over anything while this bulldoze mode is active, it's going to turn red. I can press the A button to delete it quickly, or I can hold the A button and simply move with my left joystick over these items, and we'll call this almost like painting deletion, so I can quickly delete a lot of things. I can, whoops, excuse me, I can increase my delete threshold size by holding ZL and moving up or down on the D-pad. So that's going to increase the impact size. And you'll notice that shortcut is pretty common. So if I go over to the water menu tab, I can do the same thing. I can make the water area very large or very small by holding ZL and moving up or down on the D-pad. Last, let's go back in this menu. Let's go to the adjust land options. I find myself adjusting land all the time. It may not always go into bulldoze mode. It may not have a scenario where I mess with water, but almost every single map, I'll have some need to adjust the land. So here we are on the adjust land menu, and it changes my cursor to a shovel, and any of the land that I highlight draws a white square around it, or at least indicates one of the corners as about to be modified. So let's hold the A button, and you'll notice my cursor changes. I can press up or down to increase the size of the impact, or I can use the joystick up or down to increase or decrease the elevation of that land. If I'm over one of the corners, it's going to increase or decrease just that corner. And it's pretty familiar impact, pretty familiar inputs from what you might expect from traditional RollerCoaster Tycoon. Once again, the bulldoze mode, when it's active, is going to use the A button to delete, but I'll mention a hotkey earlier that was shown in a few other videos. If this mode is closed, I can simply long press the B button to bring up kind of an individual delete mode just the same. So if you're just trying to get a pesky tree out of your way, maybe just the long press on the B button is the best way. But if you're trying to clear a whole bunch of land, then you can go into that bulldoze mode, and you might find that's a little bit more convenient. So there you have it. Some Terraform shortcuts and controller inputs for RCT Classic on Nintendo Switch.